there are hundreds and thousands of unique experiences you can have on the internal realm. One after the other, one after the other. There is so much to life. There's so much depth to your being that the deeper you go, you will experience something new. It's new to you because you have reached that level for the first time. But how can that be mistaken for enlightenment? It is very easy to mistake some new experience for enlightenment because you don't know what enlightenment is. You don't know what it feels like when you are experiencing nothingness. As far as your mind is concerned, enlightenment is also an experience. What it does not understand is that enlightenment is not an experience. Now tell me, what experience have you had? The moment you say you've had an experience, you're done. I don't even need to ask the second question. It is clear that you're living in an intellectual realm. That is why people spend years, decades with teachers, learning the same thing, going in circles, still never transcending that fundamental grip of life over you, which is the fear of death. Intellectual teaching cannot reach that depth. It can at the most give you a sense of comfort. It's mostly a false comfort. In actuality, no progress has happened. You are still searching. You are still wanting to experience that thing. This is a unique place a seeker of truth has to put himself in, which is very different from all other things that he learns on the outside. On the spiritual path, there is no question of feeling superior, feeling more knowledgeable, more intelligent, more aware. There's no such thing. It's black and white, day and night. Either you are something or you're nothing. There is no gradual movement from something to nothing. You are always something. You might be a little less of that something, but you're still something. Just one moment before your enlightenment, you are still something. Something is not a less of something else. Something is something. Something is not nothing. That moment when something becomes nothing, that is what you're wanting to experience. Now, how can you experience it? If you are experiencing it, you are still something. There, you will reach a point of impossibility. You cannot solve this koan intellectually. There is no way to intellectually grasp this. You cannot say, I understand it, I get it. If you say it, then you have missed the whole point. You are looking for an experience, but as long as you're there, that experience will not happen. Solve this. How will you solve it? You cannot. When it happens, you will know. Without this experience, it's all talk. It's all ideas. It's all arrangements. Different methods, different techniques, different ways of explaining things. That's about it. The actual path, the straight, direct path that can take you towards enlightenment is hidden from you. Because it's hidden from you, you cannot share it with others. And if you've been wondering why we have not had enough meditation teachers sharing direct path to enlightenment, newer methods, creative methods, forceful methods, active methods, because what you are wanting to experience is something that is just blocking you. You're wanting to experience yourself without your mind and body interfering. You are wanting a moment of accidental slipping into the deeper realms of your being. You can create many conditions where that can happen. A lot of spiritual exercises can do this. The word meditation in the traditional sense of just sitting quiet is a long, drawn out, excruciatingly painful process. That is why once in a while we get a Buddha. Once in a while we get an enlightened being. Because the method is same old traditional way of just sitting quiet and waiting for it to happen. And if you try to do something, you are contradicted. No, you cannot do anything. If you go to a Zen master and if you ask him for a technique, he'll say, I already gave you the technique, sit quiet. I'm like, is there any way I can improve this? No, you cannot, sit quiet. That's a Zen master. It takes decades. First 5 years in the monastery, what you've learned is how to sweep the floor, how to clean the utensils, how to help other students. That's about it. People have lived in monasteries for decades. In fact, many of them make it their life. Monastery life is their lifestyle. They cannot even conceive that it's possible to go into a spiritual ashram, pick intense, active methods and techniques, move quickly towards your realization, and then get out. They don't even see it that way. It's just a way of life. No, spirituality is not a way of life. Meditation is not a way of life. Your true self and that individual expression of that self is a way of life, which is unique. It is what you do after your realization, after your enlightenment, is your way of life. And that cannot be a standard monastic way of life. That is individualistic. What you decide to do with your realization is your way of life. You might become a teacher. You may decide not to teach. You might become a painter. You might become a cook. You might become a traveler. You might just leave everything human and go into the forest. Anything can happen. Now that is a way of life. Whatever you choose to do. But a monastic way of life is not a way of life. This is the problem. The moment you accept this idea that, oh, now I am changing my life, I am becoming a monk, then you are somewhere subconsciously accepting that monkhood as your way of life. How can monkhood be your way of life? Did existence create you to be a monk? How can it be? Existence created you to be you. When you go to a school, you don't go there to live there forever. You go there to learn and get out and use that learning. It's exactly the same with spirituality. It's exactly the same when you meet a teacher, when you go to an ashram. You have to go in with this full understanding that I'm here to learn as quickly as possible. Of course, you cannot be impatient, but you can ask for different methods, different ways of improving your progress and get to that experience, which is your own. You deserve it. It is not a grace of the teacher. It is not some unusual thing that will happen to you. You are going with the full understanding that it will happen to you. It has to happen. If it does not happen to you, who will it happen to? Your neighbor. If it happens to your neighbor, how would you even know? Enlightenment, the word does not mean anything if it does not happen to you. If it does not happen to you, then it has not happened to your teacher. It has not happened to any of the students. It's only intellectually you can feel my teacher is enlightened, some of the students are enlightened. When it happens to you, that is when that word has some meaning. That is when you know it is a real experience. Getting to that experience as quickly as possible should be your only objective. And once you experience that, then you make a choice. Then you become an individual. You become a complete entity. Now you can make choices by yourself without any external influence, without any external guidance. From there, you choose. You want to continue to stay in the monastery to guide others? It's your choosing. You want to go out and teach others? That's your choosing. But now you're no longer a monk. You're a realized being. Your objective is to become a realized being, not to become a monk. It's a transitionary phase. Almost 90% of Buddhism has forgotten this altogether. It is accepted that going to a monastery is to be there forever. Hence, everything is slow. Nothing moves inside the monastery. Everything is in slow motion. And this is regarded as progress in meditation. Total nonsense. Externally, if things are moving slow, how is it progress on the inside? Rather, you need to be moving slow on the inside. On the outside, you need to be moving fast. These are all wrong ideas that have become attached to spirituality. Oh, if I move slowly, if I take 2 hours to do something that I can do in 1 hour, then I am doing it right. Total nonsense. Your outside is just habit. It has nothing to do with how you're feeling on the inside, what you're experiencing on the inside. That is why you cannot look at the outside of an enlightened teacher and get a sense of that enlightenment. It is impossible. No matter how you try to judge, you will make a mistake. Because what is available to you is what you are familiar with. What you're wanting to see in the teacher is not even available to you. That is what you're wanting to experience. You can see your mind, you can see your body, you can see your thoughts, and similarly the teacher's mind, body, and thoughts. But a teacher is nowhere in any of this. What you're seeing in all of this is just the person, personality. The one you're wanting to find is somewhere deep down, somewhere far away. That someone is encompassing everything. He's just a pure presence, pure fragrance of life. You cannot hold this fragrance in one corner of your room. If it is there, it is everywhere. The presence of a teacher is not restricted in the body. It is inside you, it is outside you, it is everywhere. The only way to realize this is either you have to become enlightened or the teacher has to die. Only then something will suddenly strike you. Oh, the teacher is gone, but still everything that I wanted to connect with is still there. The teacher's message is there, his essence is there, and I'm still here, I'm still alive. It's only the form that is gone. Buddha has been alive for the past 2,500 years without a body, without a mind. And yet we doubt the eternal nature of the spirit, eternal nature of the self. When we have clear evidence that truth continues, truth has no end, it does not die. It is the form that comes and goes. What you are wanting to experience is that moment of formlessness.